Una, dos, tres.
As we already seen, a classical conditioning is a type of associative learning in which, after a training, we can produce a conditioned response after the presentation of a conditioned stimulus. So, using as an example Pavlov's experiment, which do you think would be the conditioned stimulus and which would be the conditioned response?
The conditioned stimulus would be the ring of the bell, and the conditioned response would be the salivation of the dog.
That's right. And if, as a scientist, you carry out this type of experiment, how would you evaluate your results? What would your qualitative observations be, for example?
That indeed it's the ring of the bell, the stimulus that produces the dog salivation.
Exactly. And do you think that it is possible to make quantitative observations in this case?
Yes. For example, we can use more dogs and count how many of them increase their salivation after the condition.
That's right. Or maybe even using just a dog, we can measure the amount of saliva that the dog produces after the presentation of the conditioned stimulus, that is the ring of the bell. Now, having this context, which do you think would be the independent variable and which would be the dependent variable?
I think that the dependent variable will be the amount of saliva that is produced, and maybe the independent variable will be, I don't know, the training.
Yeah, that's right, because by definition we know that an independent variable is something that we can control of our experimental subject. We can decrease or maybe decrease, and the dependent variable is the one that we are interested in to see how it's changing when we modify the independent variable. So now that we have all the conditions, we need to decide how are we going to measure this dependent variable, that in this case is the dog salivation. So we need to decide which units are we going to use. So by default, we know that there must be volume units. So maybe we can choose between liters or milliliters. In this case, which units would be better, do you think?
Professor, I think milliliters.
Exactly, because maybe after the ring of the bell, the dog produce, I don't know, 20 milliliters. So, where is the same? 0.020 liters. That is a really small number and prone to errors when we make calculations with it. So, by practicity, in this case, we decided to use milliliters. Now, we need to keep in mind that as a scientist, our goal is to produce new knowledge, or in other words, to answer questions. So a scientific question is called hypothesis, and its structure is an affirmation that we are going to test through experimentation. So for example, in this case, I don't know, maybe I would like to know if I can produce the same phenomenon in using a cat as an experimental model. So that would be my hypothesis. And I want you to think, how would you establish a hypothesis to answer something that you like to know? Okay? And that will be for the next class. Now it's rap time. Okay? Okay. Science providing us the tools. Classes try and make you understand the rules. Even though the aroma, it doesn't always mean food. Yo, I can't avoid a certain fragrance, it reminds me of my mom's cook. Yo, classical conditioning, the explanation. Keep reading, don't wait until the next session. Okay guys, see you next class.
Bye.
Bye.